study guide. I know we do have a test this Wednesday, Thursday. I probably will put it in the grade book, but we will see. So just follow along your study guide and then check. So which ones are functions for number one? Which ones are functions? Remember, in order to be a function, x cannot repeat, right? Remember the buffet story? X cannot repeat, so let's label our set of points here. X, Y, X, Y, X, Y. Let's look at the domain. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. No repetition, so this first one, no X value repeats, so it's a domain. Oh, sorry, it's a function. Big F word. It's a function. Okay, so I expect this type of explanation from you guys. All right, so I'll let you guys do the rest. Here, I do have the answer key, I believe. Maybe, I don't know. But go ahead and do the rest. You guys know how to do this. I don't really. So don't worry too much about the test. I know you guys can do it. Number 2, it says evaluate. The word evaluate, remember, it means to substitute or substitute and use PEMDAS. Use PEMDAS. Okay, here's my function. It says when f of x equals 5, parentheses x minus 7 minus 2, when x equals 10. So instead of x now, we're going to put 10. And now we're going to plug it in. 5, instead of x, I'm going to put 10 minus 7 minus 2. PEMDAS says parentheses goes first. So 5 times 10 minus 7 is 3. Minus 2, that's 15 minus 2 equals 13. So that's f of 10 equals 13. Remember, this is a point. So 10, 13. So we would say our justification would be we substitute x equals 10 into the function. So f of x turns into, this is an arrow, f of 10. All right. And then this is how I expect you guys to show your work. Okay. Go ahead and try this before you move on to the next problem. So pause right here. All right. So your answer should have been f of 18 equals negative 6. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. 18 negative 6. Okay. This one right here says write an equation that represents how much money you make. I think this is in page 34. Page 34. Right, example 2. So if we have a graph like, a table like this, and it wants you to write an equation, remember, you just find the difference. This is plus 0.5, plus 0.5, plus 0.5, and this one's going to be plus 8, plus 8, plus 8, plus 8. So hours would be my domain, pay would be my range. So now we have y over x, our change in y over change in x would be 8 over 0.5. Since they're both going up, they're both going to be positive. Just leave it as a fraction like this. Okay, so then now we have to find our b, right? The goal is to get y equals mx plus b. So to find b, we need x to be 0. So we already have 1 here. Let's go backwards. So if I subtract negative 0.5, this would be 0.5 minus 8 would be 18. And then another one would be 0 now, and then minus 8 again. This would be 10. So my b will be 0, 10. Okay, so now we just plug it in. So this is my m, remember? So now we just have y equals 8 over 0.5x plus 10. But if you want, change y into f of x now, equals 8, 0.5x plus 10. So my explanation would be find the slope. Second step, find b, which is your y-intercept. And number 3, write your equation for y equals mx plus b. Okay, this I would consider a 4. You guys are really good at this, so don't doubt yourselves, okay? So now let's look here. This problem right here, which would be a reasonable domain for the function. So what's the domain? Domain here in this table is the hours, okay? What's the reasonable hours to work after school? So this is saying from 0 to 5 hours. This is 0 to 15 hours. 0 to 24 hours. 0 to 36 hours. Okay, which one is reasonable if you are working after school? Would you work 36 hours right after school? Obviously not, right? You would probably want to go to sleep. So it can't be D. 24 hours? So you work 24 hours after school? Probably not either. How about 15 hours? I doubt it, because it's only, what's the reasonable hours to work, right, after school? So we end up 3 p.m. If you work 15 hours after 3 p.m., that's not reasonable, okay? So the most reasonable hours is 5 hours. So after 3 p.m., you work 5 hours, that's 8 p.m. or around 9 o'clock. So this is reasonable hours. So your explanation here would be you work after school the other hours would go past midnight, which again is according to labor laws, you should not be working more than 20 hours per week. So this is not even correct, okay? If you're under 18, you cannot work past 20 hours a week, okay? Now, the next problem says, if you worked from 4:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., how much money would you make? So if we worked from 4:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., how much money would you make? So for this problem, if you work from 4:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., how much money would you make? based on the table above. So you could either use the table or use the formula that you created, which is in this case this. So if it's easier for you to visualize the table, please do it. Okay, so let's make a table here. So we have our hours and we have our pay here. So at 4:30, so go ahead and just fill out your table. You can skip this here. $7:30, 8:30, and 9 p.m. Okay, so we know that 4:30 is our 0 hour, and our first 30 minutes is at 5 p.m. and then our first hour is at 5:30. So that means at 0 hours, how much will be paid based on the table above. At 0 hours, we start at $10. And then our difference was 8 each time, right? So we're going by 8 each time. So it's going to be 18, 26. It's going to be 42, 50. Sorry, 66, 74, and then 82. So by 9 p.m., you will earn $82. Earn $82. Okay, so your explanation would be here. I used the table above. There you go. And I know that you earn, $10 at 0 hours. Okay, isn't that pretty cool? You get paid $10. Okay, so just to clarify, this 0.5 means we're at the 30-minute mark. Okay, so 1.5 means 1 hour and 30 minutes. Just to clarify. Okay, now this next problem, again, please skip. If you guys know how to do this one already, you guys can skip this problem. So it says which ones are functions. Remember, functions, the x does not repeat. X does not repeat. So let's look at the x in this table. -3, -1, 0, 2, 3. Yes, it's a function. So once you just tell me this, I assume that you guys understand already. All right, so just tell me if it is a function or not. So number 2, look at the vertical line. Yes, it passes the vertical line test. And then this number 3. Look, this person did not follow the rules. It got 2 things at once. So not a function because 2 repeats. And then this last one, let's look at the x values. -3, -1, 0, -1, 3. Oh, look, this one repeats. Not a function because -1 repeats. Okay, this is like solid 4 for me. Okay, next. What is the domain and range? Remember, domain is your x values. Your range is your y values. Okay, so what's my least x value? least x value, remember this is x, this is y. So your least x value is going to be at 0. So 0 less than or equal to, since it is a closed circle. And it's going to be x less than or equal to, what's the highest x value? It's going to be 2000. Okay. Now let's look at the range. What's your, so this is least x value, greatest x value. Now range now would be your least y value, which would now be at 40. This is y, it's at 40. And now it's going to be y in the middle because it's range. And your greatest y value, would be at 90. Okay, so this is your domain and range for this graph. We do domain and range to describe how far apart the least domain or least range is from the highest domain or range. Okay, and remember they all have a line underneath because they have a line underneath them because these are closed circle. Okay, if you look at your snorkel activity, there is an open circle, meaning you will not have this underneath. All right, last problem here. What is the equation of this graph? Well, let's look. Okay, how do you find the equation? You always first start looking at your y-intercept. So y-intercept, which is your b. Remember, y equals mx plus b. So this is the y-intercept. Where are we starting in my graph here? Well, look, we are starting at 20. Now we have to figure out the slope. Okay, well, what's the other number here, really? We only have 20 and 0.4. Now let's look at the slope. Is it going up or down, right? This is what you guys missed on your first test. This is clearly going up, right? So that means it's going to be a positive slope. Positive slope. So which one is the other number? 0.4. Okay, y equals. So can it be the first one? No, because it's negative. B cannot be because my b is 20. So this is how I want you guys to explain this. This is my starting point. This is my y-intercept. B equals 20. Okay, and then the slope is 0.4. All right, so it can't be D because 20 again is B. Starting point is B, and it's going up by 0.4 each time. Okay, I forgot to add this question in your study guide. Please add it. If you notice, the slope is 1/2. Okay, so for this one, it says what value of k transforms the graph of f of x equals 1/2 x minus 2. So this graph belongs to the red one. Okay, guys, all you're doing is finding k. Okay, that's plus k. And what does k tell you? K tells you to go either up or down. So we want to figure out what g of x is, which is this blue line. Okay, so f of x is this red line, g of x is there. So what did we do to f of x in order to get to the blue line? All you guys need to do is you look at your y-intercept, which is -2. You count how many times it went up. In this case, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We went 5 up. Therefore, this is your k value. Okay, so your new k value, your equation says g of x equals f of x plus 5. So your new k value would be 5. So how do we make sure this is correct? We go g of x equals, what's f of x? F of x is 1/2 x minus 2, and then we put plus 5. So then we get g of x equals 1/2 x. Negative 2 plus 5 is positive 3. Is that true? Is that where the k is? Yes. So your k value would be plus 5 because we went up 5. Okay? That's pretty much it. You're just counting how far away they are. Okay, the other version of this now, it says, what value of k transforms the graph of f of x equals 1/2 x minus 2? And I know it's going to be confusing a little bit because the k is inside the parentheses. So if you would like, when you get your test, if it's inside the parentheses, change it to an h. Okay, because h is always a liar. H is always inside the parentheses. Okay, so now h, remember h tells us left to right. H tells us left to right. So if this is my f of x, if the red is my f of x, and then this is my g of x, again, we're looking for g of x here. If we're going to look at the x value. Okay, earlier we looked at the y because k is y. We're looking now at the h. So what we do now is from here, how far away is it from the blue line here? So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, since it went to the left, so you would put left 10 times, or sorry, left 10 units. Unit just means 1. Left 10 units, that means my h value would be negative 10. You do have to have this in your answer to get full points. H equals negative 10, or in this case it's asking for k, we would say k equals negative 10. Okay, so your final answer would be this. K negative 10, and to the left 10 units. This is all the work, so your answer would be C. Okay, please be careful. Please make sure you're understanding these. I think you guys got it, to be honest, so I will consider it part of the grade. So don't doubt yourself. Just be confident. If you have any questions, send me an